The ladder teetered like a drunk on the edge of collapse, paint tipping from Jake's grip as he lunged for the railing, right into the path of the shattered vase exploding against the hardwood floor. I swear, if that's the Ming Dynasty knockoff from my ex, you're buying me a lifetime supply of therapy. Alex muttered through gritted teeth, his voice a razor slicing the sudden silence, even as his heart hammered from the near miss. But Jake didn't flinch, just steadied himself with those calloused hands, eyes locking onto Alex's like he was seeing straight through the sarcasm to the raw ache beneath. Rules say I fix what I break. Starting with this mess, and maybe that look on your face. Alex wiped the sweat from his brow, the late afternoon sun slanting through the bay windows of his No Valley row house like golden knives, carving shadows across the drop cloths and half-empty paint buckets. It was day 3 of what was supposed to be a simple refresh. Eggshell white walls to bury the ghosts of his 5-year relationship with Marcus, who had packed up and bolted for a tech bro in Palo Alto, leaving behind nothing but passive-aggressive post-its and that damn vase. Alex, 34 and still clinging to his architect's ego, had figured hiring a painter would be the adult move. Outsource the chaos, reclaim the space. But Jake Harlan? He was a wild card Alex hadn't penciled in. Jake was 28, built like he hauled redwoods for fun, broad shoulders under a threadbare flannel, forearms roped with muscle from years on scaffolds in the city's endless construction boom. He'd shown up right on time that first morning, truck loaded with drop cloths and a thermos of black coffee. No small talk, just a firm handshake and a nod toward the walls. Straight edges, clean lines. That's the job, he'd said, voice low and gravelly, like he'd gargled with the fog rolling off Twin Peaks. Straight. The word hung in Alex's mind now, unbidden, as he watched Jake methodically tape off the crown molding in the living room. Jake was straight, or at least that's what his profile on the freelance app had screamed, with photos of him at Giants games, arms slung around a buddy, beer in hand. No rainbow flags, no subtle signals. Just a guy from the Central Valley, scraping by in the city, following what Alex was starting to call his quiet rules. It started innocently enough that first afternoon. Alex had wandered in from his home office, sketches for a new condo project scattered across the kitchen island, needing a break from the endless revisions. The air smelled of primer and possibility, a far cry from the stale takeout funk Marcus had let fester. Jake was on his knees, edging the baseboards with a steady hand, brush strokes precise as a surgeon's. Alex leaned against the doorframe, sipping iced tea, and blurted the first thing that came to mind. You ever feel like painting over your life would fix it? Just one coat. Boom, knew you. Jake paused, brush hovering, but didn't look up. Nah. Paint peels if the foundation's cracked. He dipped the brush again, the soft swish the only sound for a beat. Then quieter. But I've tried. Fresno heat makes everything stickier, memories, regrets. Came here to scrape it off. Alex chuckled, but it landed flat. Fresno, the Bible Belt of California, all dust-choked orchards and conservative kin. He dated a guy from there once, back in college at UC Berkeley. Ended in tears and a black eye from the guy's brother. Sounds heavy. Family? Jake's jaw tightened, just a flicker, but Alex caught it. Rules, mostly. Dad's a foreman, mom's the church anchor. Harlan men build, don't bend. Work hard. Love simple. Keep your head down. He straightened, wiping his hands on his jeans, finally meeting Alex's eyes. They were hazel, flecked with gold like autumn leaves caught in streetlight, warm, but guarded, like a door cracked just enough to let in air. You? This place screams bachelor pad upgrade. X. The directness hit like a splash of turpentine. Alex blinked, then laughed for real this time, the kind that loosened the knot in his chest. Marcus, architect too but lazier, said I was too structured. Ironic, right? Left me with walls that feel like they're closing in. He gestured vaguely at the room, the exposed brick Marcus had insisted on, now mocking him with its permanence. Jake nodded, slow, like he was filing it away. Structure's good. Keeps the chaos out. He turned back to the wall, but not before Alex saw the ghost of a smile. It was the first crack in the facade, and damn if it didn't make the room feel 10 degrees warmer. By evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the skyline in bruised purples, they'd fallen into a rhythm. Alex ordered pizza, pepperoni for Jake, vegan for himself, and they ate on the fire escape, legs dangling over the alley where feral cats yowled at overflowing dumpsters. The city hummed below, cable cars clanging up Market Street, laughter spilling from dive bars, the distant wail of sirens that was as much San Francisco's soundtrack as the foghorns. Jake talked in fits and starts like he was testing the waters, grew up fixing tractors with his old man, dreamed of art school but got sidelined by practicality. Lost his mom to cancer 2 years back, quick, brutal, the kind that leaves scorch marks. She was the only one who saw the sketches I hid, he admitted, picking at a grease spot on the box. Dad burned them, said real men don't doodle. Alex listened, the pizza turning to ash in his mouth. He'd lost his own dad young, to a heart attack chasing the American dream in Detroit suburbs. But his mom had been the fierce one, marching in pride parades with signs that read, "Love wins, bigots lose." Coming out at 17 had been a non-event. She'd baked rainbow cookies. Sucks when the people who should build you up just hand you blueprints for breaking. Jake's eyes drifted to the horizon, where the Golden Gate Bridge glowed like a promise half-kept. Yeah, but rules keep you standing. You follow yours. Alex shrugged, the vulnerability itching like fresh paint. Trying to. Work, gym, therapy. Rinse. Repeat. He didn't mention the Grindr app he'd deleted last week, the parade of hookups that felt like echoes, or how, watching Jake's profile against the twilight, he felt the stir of something dangerous, curiosity laced with want. That night, alone in his bed with sheets that still smelled faintly of Marcus's cologne, Alex replayed the conversation. Jake's rules. Unyielding, but not unkind. Like the man himself. Friendship, Alex told himself. Just that. But as sleep tugged him under, the word twisted, blooming into questions he wasn't ready to answer. The next morning dawned crisp. The kind of Bay Area blue sky day that lured tourists and broke your heart with its brevity. Jake arrived with donuts from the corner spot. Glazed for Alex, chocolate for himself, and they dove back in, radio tuned to KQED for the morning news. Wildfires up north, tech layoffs downtown, the usual cocktail of hope and havoc. By noon, the living room walls gleamed, transforming the space from mausoleum to sanctuary. Alex sketched nearby, stealing glances at Jake's focus. The way his brow furrowed over tricky trim, sweat beading on his neck like dew on a fence post. It was during lunch, sprawled on the drop cloths with sandwiches from the deli down the block, that the first real thread unraveled. Alex, emboldened by the easy camaraderie, asked about Jake's tattoos. A compass rose on his forearm, inked in faded black, pointing true north. Navigation, Jake said, flexing his arm absently. Dad's idea after I got lost hiking the Sierras as a kid. Said it reminds you. Straight path home. Straight path, Alex echoed, the word landing heavier this time. He picked at his turkey club, heart picking up tempo. Ever veer off? Jake's laugh was short, self-deprecating. Once or twice. College, that one summer in Tahoe. Kissed a guy at a bonfire, blamed the whiskey. Woke up hungover, buried it deep. He said it casual, like recounting a fender bender, but his eyes darted away, fingers tracing the tattoo's lines. Alex's fork froze midair. The air thickened, charged like the moment before a summer storm. And nothing. Rules, remember? Harlan's don't detour. But there was a hitch in his voice, a crack wider than before. Jake stood abruptly, brushing crumbs off his jeans. Walls won't paint themselves. Alex let it drop, but the seed was planted. That afternoon, as Jake balanced on the ladder taping the ceiling, Alex climbed up to hand him a fresh roll. Proximity a flimsy excuse. Their hands brushed, calluses against smooth skin, and time stuttered. Jake's gaze held, searching, before he pulled back with a muttered thanks. The ladder didn't teeter that time, but Alex's world did. By week's end, the house was half done, But the real renovation was underway in the spaces between strokes. Evenings blurred into rituals. Beers on the stoop, Jake's stories unfurling like hidden panels in a mural. His sister's wedding back home, where he'd stood as best man in a suit that choked him, toasting to forever straights. The art he still sketched in secret, tucked in his truck's glove box. Landscapes that bled emotion, all jagged lines and stolen sunsets. Alex shared too. The firm he'd co-founded with Marcus, now a solo grind. The client dinner where he'd come out twice over, once to colleagues, once to himself. Laughter wove through the ache, binding them tighter than any caulk. One night, after a particularly grueling day, rain slicking the streets, delaying the trim work, Jake lingered. The living room glowed under the new recessed lights Alex had wired. Walls pristine. Furniture pushed back like actors awaiting cue. "Looks good," Jake said, hands in pockets, rocking on his heels. Like a fresh start. Alex poured whiskey, top shelf, Marcus's ghost, and they clinked glasses on the couch, knees inches apart. The conversation meandered to dreams deferred. Jake's half-baked plan for a mural collective in the Mission. Alex's itch to design affordable housing for queer youth. Vulnerability hung ripe, the whiskey loosening tongues. "You ever wonder if the rules are just walls?" Alex asked, voice soft against the patter of rain on the windows. Jake swirled his glass, ice clinking like unspoken confessions. "Every damn day, but breaking em. That's the real fall." His eyes met Alex's, holding longer than friendly, the gold flecks catching firelight. The space between them hummed, electric, until Jake set his glass down with a decisive clunk. "Night, Alex. See you tomorrow." He left, truck rumbling into the night, and Alex sat there, pulse thundering, wondering if the fall had already begun. 2 weeks in, and the house was a canvas reborn. Kitchen cabinets a soft sage that made the quartz counters pop, hallway a neutral taupe that whispered calm. But the real masterpiece was the unspoken pact forming between them, fragile as wet plaster. Jake's truck became a fixture in the driveway, his boots leaving faint imprints on the welcome mat. Alex found himself timing his coffee runs to coincide with breaks, stocking the fridge with Jake's guilty pleasure root beer. It was friendship, pure and uncomplicated. Or so he told his reflection in the bathroom mirror each morning, ignoring the way his gaze lingered on the door, waiting for the knock. San Francisco conspired to deepen the bond, its eccentric pulse bleeding into their days. One fog-shrouded Saturday, with the job ahead of schedule, Alex suggested a detour. The De Young Museum's latest exhibit on California Impressionists, all golden hills and luminous skies that echoed Jake's hidden sketches. "Come on, consider it team building." "My treat." Jake hesitated, ladder propped against the garage wall, paint-flecked bandana tied back. "Not my scene. Museums are for." He trailed off, shrugging. "Rich folks pondering." "Rich folks like me?" Alex teased, tossing him a water bottle. "Or guys from Fresno who draw better than half the pros in there?" That did it. Jake's grin broke free, rare and radiant, transforming his face from stoic to boyish. "Fine. But if I hate it, you owe me in and out." The museum was a revelation. Towering canvases swallowed them. Monet-inspired poplars swaying in eucalyptus breezes. Sisley's Seine rendered in Napa valleys. Jake moved slow, hands clasped behind his back, but his eyes devoured. The play of light on water, shadows pooling like secrets. Alex watched him more than the art, heart swelling at the quiet awe etching Jake's features. In the American Gallery, before a massive Bierstadt landscape of Yosemite's granite cliffs, Jake stopped dead. "Reminds me of home," he murmured, voice thick. "Dad took us camping once. Said mountains teach you scale, man against God or whatever. I saw stories instead. Heroes climbing, lovers leaping." His fingers twitched, as if tracing invisible lines. Alex swallowed, the air between them thickening with unsaid things. "You could have been one of those artists. Still could." Jake's laugh was bitter fog. "Rules don't bend for coulds. Dad's got me lined up for his crew next month. Back in Fresno, steady gig. Family first." He turned, eyes stormy. What about you? Ever think of leaving this pressure cooker? Alex leaned against the railing, the hum of tourists a distant buzz. Thought about it. After Marcus, Detroit may be mom's place, but this city's in my bones. The fights, the freedoms. You fight for what you love here, or it chews you up. Jake nodded, gaze drifting to a painting of fog-veiled bays, mirroring the city's eternal shroud. Yeah, choose slow. They left wordless. The drive back through Golden Gate Park a companionable quiet, eucalyptus scent clinging to their clothes. At a red light on Haight, Jake broke it. Thanks. For today. Felt real. Alex's hand itched to bridge the console, but he gripped the wheel instead. Anytime. That anytime echoed into the following days. A permission slip for deeper dives. Jake started sharing sketches. Rough charcoals pulled from his truck at dusk. Edges soft with emotion. A silhouette against the Bay Bridge. Loneliness in the curve of shoulders. A pair of hands clasped. Strength in the overlap. Alex pored over them like blueprints, offering praise that made Jake duck his head, cheeks flushing under the stubble. You're good, man. No, great. Why hide it? Rules, Jake said simply, but the word carried less weight now, fraying at the edges. Alex's own walls crumbled too. Over late-night tacos from the truck on Valencia Street, al pastor dripping with lime and cilantro, he confessed the betrayal that still stung. Marcus sleeping with his junior associate, the firm holiday party turning into a farce of forced smiles. Felt like I'd built our life on sand. One wave, gone. Jake listened. Fork paused, fury flashing in his eyes. Bastard. You deserve solid ground. He reached across the rickety table, clapping Alex's shoulder. Firm, lingering. The touch seared, innocent yet loaded, sending heat coiling low in Alex's gut. He pulled back too soon, muttering thanks, but the spark lingered, flickering in stolen glances. The conflict brewed subtle, like varnish drying under layers. Jake's phone buzzed more. Texts from his dad, clipped and commanding. Crew needs you. Wedding soon. Straighten up. Alex overheard one call. Jake's voice strained. Yeah, Pop. I'll be there. No detours. The word straighten landed like a slap, twisting Alex's insides. Was it projection or warning? Then came the betrayal's first shadow. Midweek. Rain lashing the windows like accusations. Jake arrived late, eyes red-rimmed, flannel rumpled. Rough night, he grunted, diving into the bedroom walls without preamble. Alex pressed, gentle over coffee, decaf to match the mood. Sisters engaged. To this tool from church accountant all pressed khakis. Dad's pushing me to settle down too. Find a nice girl, Harlan. Clock's ticking. Jake's brush strokes turned aggressive, paint bleeding at the edges. Alex's stomach nodded. And you? What do you want? Jake set the roller down back to Alex, shoulders rigid. Doesn't matter. Rules say play the part. Show up, smile, sign the papers. He turned, face a mask cracking. But last night, met her. Emily. Sweet, uncomplicated. Said yes to coffee. Felt wrong, but safe. The words hit like a gut punch. Alex forced a smile, throat tight. Safe's good, right? Jake's eyes searched his, pleading for absolution or contradiction. Yeah, rules keep it that way. That evening, alone, Alex paced the freshly painted floors, whiskey burning without warming. Jealousy? Ridiculous. Jake was straight, Emily the proof. But the ache said otherwise, a betrayal not of Jake's making, but of Alex's heart for daring to hope. He texted his best friend, Theo, a drag queen barista with zero filter. Hired helps complicating things. Send gin? Theo showed with a bottle and brutal honesty. Honey, if he's straight, why's he painting your world in colors? But if he's not, don't build castles on crumbs. Alex laughed it off, but sleep evaded. Dreams tangled with ladders and locked doors. The next day dawned brittle, Jake arriving with takeout burritos and an apology in his gate. Emily's nice, but not it. Cancelled. No details, just a shrug. But relief flooded Alex, guilty and sweet. They worked in sync, sanding the bedroom trim, sawdust dancing in sunbeams like confetti. By afternoon, the tension eased into banter, Jake teasing Alex's fancy playlist of indie folk, Alex ribbing Jake's country twang slipping through on high notes. As dusk fell, painting the room in lavender hues, Jake paused at the window, overlooking the garden patch Alex had neglected. This place, it's you, structured but alive, roots pushing through concrete. Alex joined him, shoulders brushing. Needs work, like everything. Their eyes met in the glass's reflection. Jake's hand rising, hesitant, to Alex's arm. Yeah, but worth it. The touch was brief, a question unasked. Jake pulled away first, muttering about cleanup, but the air hummed with promise. Alex's pulse raced, the line between friends blurring like wet ink. Yet the storm clouds gathered unseen. Jake's dad called again that night, voicemail left on speaker by accident. Son, Emily's folks are solid. Church picnic Sunday. Bring your A game. No more city nonsense. Jake deleted it fast, but not before Alex glimpsed the fracture. Duty versus desire? Fresno's pull against San Francisco's push. Over the weekend, they escaped to the coast. Alex's idea, a job site inspection for the exterior trim. Highway one wound like a vein, cliffs plunging to turquoise, waves crashing white. They hiked Point Reyes, salt wind whipping their faces, Jake's laughter free as he skipped stones across tide pools. At a secluded overlook, picnicking on sourdough and clam chowder from a thermos, the dam broke. Ever run? Alex asked, casual as gulls wheeled overhead. Jake hurled a pebble far, splash echoing. From what? The rules? Tried once after Mom. Packed a bag, headed west. Got as far as Bakersfield before guilt turned me around. His voice cracked. Feels like I'm always one step from the edge. Alex's hand found his, deliberate this time, grounding. Maybe the edge is where you find solid. Jake didn't pull away. His thumb traced Alex's knuckles, tentative. Or you fall. The kiss, when it came, was inevitable, soft, salt-tanged. Jake's stubble grazing like sandpaper promise. It deepened slow, hands cupping faces, the world narrowing to breath and heartbeat. Then Jake froze, wrenching back, eyes wild. Shit, I can't. This isn't. Straight path, Alex whispered, chest heaving. Jake bolted, boots crunching gravel, leaving Alex with the echo of what-ifs and the crash of waves mocking his solitude. The drive back was a funeral procession. Silence thick as the marine layer swallowing the highway, Jake's profile a granite cliff against the passenger window. Alex gripped the wheel white-knuckled, words piling like debris. Apologies, explanations, please. But Jake's rules had slammed shut, bolted from within. He mumbled, gotta think, at his truck, peeling out before Alex could unbuckle. The house felt cavernous that night, fresh paint mocking with its blank perfection, every corner whispering the ghost of that kiss. Tentative, electric, aborted. Monday brought radio silence. No truck in the drive, no buzz of rollers. Alex buried in work, drafting elevations for a queer community center in the Castro. Ironic, pouring heart into safe spaces while his own cracked. Texts to Jake went unread. We good? Talk? By Wednesday, worry edged into dread. He drove to the freelance app's listed address. A rundown Victorian in the outer sunset, fog perpetual, waves audible like labored breaths. Jake answered shirtless, sweat slick from solo sanding in the backyard, eyes shadowed. Not now, Alex. The door cracked just enough for dismissal. Jake, please. That kiss, it wasn't nothing. For me, anyway. Jake's jaw clenched, a vein pulsing at his temple. It was everything. That's the problem. He raked a hand through damp hair. Called Dad last night. Told him about the crew. About Emily recommitted. Picnics tomorrow. Gotta play it straight or I lose. Everything. The betrayal landed visceral. A knife twist Alex hadn't braced for. Not Jake's infidelity. Hell, there'd been no promises. But the erasure. The retreat to rules that choked the life from him. So that's it? One step forward, two back. You're choosing Fresno's cage over this. Alex gestured wildly, encompassing the space between the city, the spark they'd kindled. Jake's eyes glistened, but his voice stayed steel. Rules aren't a choice. They're survival. You build your world, fancy firm, pride floats. Me? I fix what's broke for other folks. Can't afford to shatter my own. Alex's throat burned. You're already shattered. Hiding sketches, burying feelings. That's not fixing. That's fleeing. Jake slammed the door, the echo reverberating like thunder. Alex stood there, rain starting to spit from low clouds, until numbness set in. Back home, he called Theo, voice unraveling over speakerphone as he paced the living room. He bolted, like Marcus, but worse, because I thought he saw me. Theo's sigh crackled through. Babe, straight-passing boys are landmines. But if he's cracking, maybe he's not as straight as he thinks. Give him space or blow it up. Your call. Space. Alex tried, throwing into the remodel solo, hiring a temp for trim, staining the floors himself until blisters bloomed. But the house rebelled, imperfections glaring. Paint bubbles from rushed coats, trim gaps like accusations. Jake's absence was a void, his tools still scattered like breadcrumbs. A forgotten brush in the utility sink, a half-used can of sage mocking the kitchen. Friday's church picnic played out in Alex's imagination. Torturous vignettes. Jake in khakis, arm around Emily's waist, laughing at dad jokes while his soul screamed. The betrayal festered, morphing from personal slight to profound pity. Jake Harlan, artist caged by convention, choosing chains over flight. Saturday broke gray, but Alex laced up for a run. Ocean Beach, pounding pavement until lungs burned, waves a relentless roar. Halfway, phone buzzed. Jake, can I come by? Need to finish. Relief ward with wariness. Doors open. He arrived at dusk, truck groaning to a halt, duffel slung over shoulder like armor. No hello, just straight to the bedroom, roller in hand, silence his companion. Alex watched from the doorway, arms crossed, the tension coiling like smoke. Half a wall in, Jake cracked. Picnic was hell. Emily's great, kind, steady. But touching her, nothing. Like kissing fog. He didn't stop painting, strokes furious. Dad grilled me on wedding bells. Said Harlan's marry young, breed strong. I nodded, smiled, died inside. Alex stepped closer, heart fracturing anew. Then why go back? Because if I don't, he cuts me off. Crew, family, the only net I've got. Jake's voice broke, roller trembling. And you, God, Alex, that kiss, woke something I buried deep. But I'm not. I can't be what you need, what I want. The admission hung raw and revolutionary. Alex closed the distance, hand on Jake's arm, steadying. You don't have to be anything but you. Screw the rules. They're not gospel. They're grief, your mom's, your dad's fears. But hiding? That's the real grave. Jake dropped the roller, paint splattering like tears. He turned, face crumpling, and collapsed into Alex. Forehead to shoulder, body shaking with silent sobs. Alex held him, fierce and tender, hands stroking his back as the dam burst. Whispers followed. Jake's college fumblings, a high school crush on the quarterback beaten down by shame. The sketches of men in quiet embraces, burned but not forgotten. Alex shared his scars, rejection's sting, the loneliness of building alone. They sank to the drop cloth, tangled in exhaustion, boundaries blurred but unbroken. No more kisses, just presence. Jake's head in Alex's lap, fingers threading hair as streetlights flickered on. Scared, Jake admitted, voice muffled. Of falling, of flying. Alex's thumb traced his jaw. We catch each other, or crash trying. Dawn crept in, painting the room in pinks and golds. Jake stirred, eyes clearer, resolve flickering. One more wall, then, we talk rules. My rules. They finished together, harmony restored in brush and banter. But the climax loomed, inevitable as tide. That afternoon, Jake's phone rang. Dad. Insistent. He answered on speaker, braced. Pop. About the crew. The explosion was seismic. Raised voices crackled. Accusations of weakness, city corruption, Emily's tears. You're throwing us away for what? Some fag friend. The slur landed like shrapnel, Jake paling. Alex froze, but Jake's grip on the phone tightened. He's more than that. And yeah, maybe I am throwing it away for me. For once. Dead air, then dial tone. Jake hurled the phone, shattering against the wall. Paint toppling in sympathy. Rage, grief, liberation crashed over him. He punched the drywall, knuckles splitting, blood blooming red. Alex pulled him off, bandaging in the bathroom sink, silence heavy with aftershocks. It's done, Jake rasped, staring at his reflection. Fractured man staring back. No net, just freefall. Alex cupped his face, blood-smeared thumbs gentle. You've got me, Theo. This city. It's a net if you weave it right. Jake's laugh was watery, broken. Your rules now. Ours. The word sealed it, a vow unspoken. But freedom's price exacted swift. Monday, Jake's truck vanished, repossessed. Dad's doing. Texts from Emily, hurt, pleading. Sister's calls. Family fracture lines spiderwebbing. Jake crashed on Alex's couch, sketches spilling from his bag like confessions. But shadows haunted his eyes, doubts whisper, rules echo. Midweek, the storm peaked. A Fresno buddy showed. Burly, buzz cut, reeking of entitlement. Pounding the door at midnight. Harlan, your old man's disowning you, but I'm here to drag you home. City's poisoned you. Fairy dust and all. Jake faced him in the foyer. Alex hovering like a sentinel. Fists flew, quick, brutal. Jake's lips splitting before he pinned the guy against the wall. Get out. Tell Dad I'm done bending. The door slammed, but victory tasted ash. Jake slid down it, head in hands. Lost everything. For what? A maybe? Alex knelt, pulling him close. For you. That's everything. The embrace stretched, bodies aligning in shared tremor. Comfort tipping toward craving. Lips brushed cheeks, necks, halting at the precipice. Not yet, Jake breathed, pulling back. Need to stand first. Alex nodded, heart aching with pride and patience. Human connections, he knew, were renovations. Not quick coats, but layers peeled, rebuilt. As October fog thickened, they ventured out, mural hunting in the Mission, where vibrant walls screamed defiance. Open mic at a Castro cafe, Jake reading a sketch-turned-poem, voice steady amid applause. Bonds wove tighter, Theo adopting Jake like a stray, group hikes where laughter drowned doubts. But betrayal's scar itched. Jake's flinches at family mentions, nights pacing the living room, whispering what-ifs. The climax crested unannounced. A letter, crisp envelope from Fresno, Dad's scrawl, one chance. Come home, or stay gone. Jake burned it in the sink, flames dancing like demons, but embers lingered in his gaze. November swept in on gales, stripping leaves from the japonica in Alex's garden, bearing branches like exposed nerves. The house stood complete, walls whispering stories of sweat and secrets, every corner a testament to resilience. Jake had moved from couch to guest room, duffel unpacked tentatively, sketches pinned like flags of claim. Their mornings synced, coffee black for Jake, lattes for Alex, evenings unwound with vinyl spins, Springsteen for roots, Bowie for rebellion. Friendship had deepened to something profound, unlabeled. Hands brushing over dishes, thighs pressing on the couch during movie marathons, gazes holding like anchors in storm. But the what-ifs gnawed, betrayals echo in Jake's silences. He'd started a mural gig, small commissions for queer-owned shops in the Castro, vibrant declarations of self. Critics raved in local rags, raw, revelatory. Harlan's brushstrokes bleed heart. Yet success amplified the void. A call from his sister, voice cracking over Thanksgiving plans. He's hurting, Jake. Says you chose sin over blood. Jake hung up mid-sentence, retreating to the roof deck where city lights sprawled like a glittering apology. Alex followed, blankets in tow, settling beside him against the chill. Blood's not just DNA. It's choice. Who bleeds with you? Jake's exhale fogged the air. Chose wrong before. Emily, Dad thought rules would hold. But they crumbled anyway. His hand found Alex's under the blanket, fingers lacing deliberate. You didn't. Held me up. The touch ignited, slow burning. Alex turned, faces inches apart, breath mingling. Always will. The kiss this time was deliberate. Jake initiating, lips firm yet yielding, a claiming born of clarity. It unfolded unhurried. Hands exploring shoulders, waists, mapping trust over territory. No rush to bedrooms, just presence. Kissing until lips swelled, laughter bubbling when noses bumped. They broke for air, foreheads pressed, Jake's whisper fierce. This. My rules now. Winter solstice brought the true climax. Not fists or ultimatums, but a confrontation self-made. Jake rented a van, loaded canvases, announced, going back, one last talk. End it right. Alex's gut twisted, betrayal specter rising. Alone. Need to. Jake's eyes pleaded understanding. For closure. For us. The drive to Fresno was a gauntlet. 8 hours of podcasts on queer icons, playlists of anthems defiant. Alex paced the house. Theo on speed dial. If he doesn't come back, I'll key his ghost truck myself. He returned at dawn 2 days later, van dented, face bruised. Not physically, but etched with exhaustion. Collapsing onto the couch, he spilled. The ambush at the family ranch, Dad's shotgun rhetoric. Turned queer, turned traitor. Sister's tears, brother's cold shoulder. Jake had stood firm. Sketches presented like evidence, words honed sharp. Love's not a detour. It's the damn road. You built walls. I'm painting over 'em. Ejection followed. Tires kicked up dust. Curses chased him south. But in the rearview, a crack. Dad's voice, gruff. Don't say I didn't warn you when it all falls apart. Jake laughed now, hollow. Fell already. Rebuilding better. Alex pulled him close, kisses salving wounds. Proud of you. The humanistic turn came gradual, woven through holidays and heartaches. Christmas. Theo's drag brunch. Jake in a Santa hat, belting carols off-key. New Year's on the Embarcadero. Fireworks bursting over the bay as they toasted to detours. Jake's art bloomed. A mural for Alex's community center. 2 figures hand in hand against urban sprawl. Captioned, bridges, not walls. Betrayal's shadow lingered in letters ignored, calls blocked, but forgiveness trickled. A tentative email from his sister. Miss you. Mom would have loved this. Jake replied sparse, boundaries firm. Love extended, not unconditional. Spring thawed the last frosts. The house garden revived under their hands. Roses for Alex's mom, wildflowers for Jake's sketches. One April evening, sunset gilding the living room. Jake knelt amid drop cloths long stored. Ring simple. Silver band etched with a compass rose, veering off true north. Not rules, he said, voice steady as his brush hand. A path. With you. Alex's yes was a sob laugh, pulling him up into embrace. Deep, unending. The kiss sealed it, romantic in its rawness. 2 men, scarred and soaring, building not just walls, but worlds. Years blurred. The firm expanded, Jake's murals gracing galleries from Soma to Santa Fe. Family mended fractal. Dad's reluctant visit. Gruff nod at a pride float. Looks sturdy. Losses came too. Theo's diagnosis, battled with glitter and grit. But joys anchored. Adoptions discussed. Travels to Yosemite where Jake sketched lovers leaping. In quiet moments, Alex traced Jake's tattoos, now inked with rainbows subtle. Ever regret? Jake's smile, gold-flecked, warmed like sun on fresh paint. Only not starting sooner. But you? Best hire ever. The city hummed on, fog lifting to reveal bridges unbroken. Their story, dramatic in its detours, suspense in its stakes, was no fairy tale, but human, profoundly. Love as renovation, betrayal as blueprint, friendship the foundation deeper than either expected. And in that American dream repainted, they thrived.